Greetings, family, and welcome back to another episode of Pure Vibes, the podcast. I am your host, King Fire, aka the Fresh King, alongside my beautiful co-host,
Lady Lotus, Queen of Positive Vibes. Tell you no lies.
I like that.
Yeah.
And we're back again for more Pure Vibes. I hope everyone is doing great out there. As we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel to grow. And tell a friend, and somebody else, Cow. Boom! Lego.
Stop.
This is how I get my juices flowing. I jump in like that. Everybody has their thing. How are you, Queen?
My crown is on straight.
That's good. You look nice.
Likewise.
I like your de-stressed. What you got? Thunderbolts? You have the right thing there,
That's what they say.
Firecracker.
You like to say kaboom. Here I
Same
am.
thing, right? Firecracker. Anyway, what we got on the agenda today?
I don't have an agenda.
You don't? I mean, you have a list. I mean, you have something to talk about. If you don't, then, I'll pull out mine.
I'm sure you do.
But the other day, right, we was having a conversation about younger men, younger women and older men, and you had an issue with that. And I want to know, what is your issue if a woman is an adult, right, 25 years old, and she's dating a man that's about 40 years old?
I don't have an issue. To each his own. Everybody do what they're comfortable with.
Right.
I do think it says a lot about the man.
And what is that?
Immature, perhaps. Lazy.
Suppose he's trying to secure his lineage.
You think the average 40-year-old man wants to have kids?
It's some man that does, and maybe he feels like a woman in her prime is the best way to go. Because for many years, I never knew what a woman in her prime meant.
Is that the only way he's relating to her?
It might be a little bit more deeper than that. I don't know everybody's situation. I can't speak on everybody's situation. But I think for the most part.
I think I just have a hard time trying to understand how that would balance. Because I think chemistry, connection, and compatibility are all different things. And I don't know what you would have in common with somebody 15, 20 years your junior.
So do you think age means, knowledge?
No, not necessarily, but life experience.
Right. Yeah. Age will give you life experience, but it doesn't give you knowledge. So somebody younger than you can teach you something, right or wrong. So you might, your kids could come up to you one day and show you something you never knew, or put you onto something.
No,
right?
facts.
Right?
But what about the wisdom that comes with just living?
And I think her maybe having an older man in her life might be able to
teach
her to get that.
So it's a father-daughter dynamic?
Father-daughter is a little bit, I think that's leaning it a little bit to the other direction.
I'm trying to understand. Help me.
All right,
Are you telling me that you would date a 25-year-old lady?
I never try to make these things about me, But all right, if she has a mentality that's mature, right, and she's an adult, I'm an adult, I don't necessarily see the big problem with it, right? I don't necessarily see the big problem because she's an adult. She's 25. Let's say she's 26, 27. Let's say 27. How do you feel about that? 27-year-old and she's dating a 40-year-old. Do you see a big difference or issue with that?
I'm looking at him. I can see why she would. I don't see why he would.
So for her, you see no problem in it? You see the benefit in her court?
I'm saying I can understand the rationale I'm a woman, so maybe it's just that. But for me, I think naturally women look to be led anyway. Outside of the age thing. So I can see how a woman would lean into a man who she feels like could lead her better. But as for a man, I don't understand how he could date a woman that could be close to children's age that he already has. It gets a little.
That's when you turn it.
Little weird for me.
Yeah, that's when you That's when
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at 40, I could have a 20-year-old and I'm dating a 25-year-old. How do I date? So you're doing and interested in similar things to my kid, and then at 25, the things that you want to do, I've done already. I'm not interested in that anymore. So where What are we doing?
So you're telling me that it can't be just pure love and attraction? You saying that
You can love you can love anybody. You get what I'm saying? And you can be attraction is easy.
So do you think
I'm talking about how does that collide?
So you're talking about, all right, so what are we talking about here? We talking
Are you talking about hooking up with a youngin, or you talking about locking in with a youngin? Because that's different.
Yo, you're not the first one that said that.
Hey, girl.
Yeah, but no. I know somebody that shares that same thought that you just had.
Yeah, it's a little weird for me.
And we had that same discussion when I mentioned that, one of the topics that we will have to talk about is this, right? And that was what's the same thing that was said to me. So now it's making me feel like,
I mean, men are visual, so it will be easy for him to be attracted to anything that walks by that catches his eye. So she wouldn't be, a 25-year-old wouldn't be exempt. I'm trying to figure out, because are we talking about a mature man, or are we talking about just average Joe, a 40-year-old average Joe? I feel like a 40-year-old man, what is your connection with a 25-year-old girl, woman, young lady?
like I said, some men chase
easy. Because you can go over there with that 25-year-old and do shit that you can't
he might be trying
get
to
away
secure his
with.
lineage.
Your lineage is crazy if you're going to raise kids and be like, damn.
Because you think a 40-year-old woman want to have
20
kids,
years
or you
older
think
than
a woman that's like 25, 26, 27 is going to have more energy, more strength to run around with kids? Or you think a woman in her 40s and 50s is going to want to do that? No. So I think a man is going to look
That's
for
not
a
fair
woman.
to say. You have some women in their 40s that are very jovial.
Let me don't speak for all women. But for the most part, do you think the younger person with the more energy...
Why are you saying that? Women are having babies later and later now.
Well, that is true.
You get what I'm saying? Like, women are waiting longer to have children now. It's scientifically proven that between 35 and 40 is the biggest age group of black women having.
But does it not get harder for women as women get older to conceive? Because that's something.
There's certain risks that could be associated with it, but not necessarily. I don't think that is a marker to justify how you relate in maturity with somebody 15 to 20 years your junior. I don't get it. Me personally, if you flip it, I would never. And I get approached by younger guys all the time. We can't do nothing.
So you don't think that you can learn anything from them? You don't think that they could be immature? They could be mature enough where you could still have a relationship with them and deal with them? Sure.
Possible. For me, I don't want to teach nobody. I'm in a different stage of life now. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to, that makes me feel less of your woman and more mommy-ish. You get what I'm saying? I want my equal when it comes to maturity. And that doesn't have to be age. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even date a man 20 years older than me. And I think certain stages in life, it means different things. I think, like, if I was to meet a man right now in his 60s, 10 years from now, my life could be a total disaster. He's aging, he's slower, he's declining. We have different interests. What would that mean for my life? I don't want to take care of nobody in that way. If we're growing old and aging together, that's a very different situation than me coming home and smelling Bengay and denture cream. No, thank you.
Yeah. So all right. So then, different men do it for different reasons. I would say. I think some men definitely are maybe looking for a young woman because they're trying to chase securing their lineage.
Because they don't want to be accountable to a woman in their age group because they know what comes with that.
That could be it too. I don't want to say that's for everybody though. I can't say that's for everybody.
You still haven't told me how you would connect with a 25-year-old young lady.
I can't.
Other than her looking good on your arm. I mean, there is that, and that is a big thing for men, especially insecure men. They love to have. I'm serious.
What do insecure men like to have? Let me know.
Somebody on their arm.
They like arm candy?
Yes, arm candy or status. Anything that would make them appear to be the man for having this particular girl.
So a man shouldn't have a bad girl then?
I mean, every man is entitled, but he just needs to know why she's connecting with him. You think that these athletes and stuff like that will be able to bag these women that they bagging without the bag that they have? No.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think a lot of the bag is involved in that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I also think
because them do be meeting like different women that they would probably not meet if it weren't for their status.
Correct. And I think that men get to a certain age and meet a certain criteria, whatever's their criteria in life, and they feel like they're set, and they go back and bag the women that they couldn't when they were that age, whether they're not attractive or they don't have no game or whatever. And I always say, whatever a man leads with, he feels like it's his strength.
That's the motto. That is.
I'm definitely judging a man that's with a woman 20 years younger than him. Grow up.
Moving on, fellas and ladies.
If I catch you with a 25-year-old, am I embarrassed?
Listen. I didn't say I would. I'm just telling you.
You definitely would.
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to.
As your friend, I'm going to call you out.
Well, if I deserve to be called out, I need to be called out.
Yeah, I'm going to do it every time, friend. Because that's what friends are for. I love when you stuck.
Next topic. Anyhow, you said something the other day.
What
alone and lonely.
Two different things. I think.
Explain to me.
Yeah, I think that men see women who are alone and think that they're lonely. Or, there's just some perception in that. But most women, I can't say most women, but I will say just because a woman is alone doesn't mean that she doesn't have options. It just means that she's choosing, for whatever reason, to be alone. Does not mean she doesn't have.
She don't have somebody creeping in the back door.
It's not what I'm saying. Don't mix.
I'm just trying to make sure that we're on the same page.
I mean, you can
creeping in the back door, have a drive-by, passenger service, delivery service.
She may have options, but I think it's a clearer indication that she's not settling. She doesn't want to do just anything. But I think there's a point in life that you can reach and be totally content alone. But that doesn't mean that you're lonely. So, I think loneliness is a discontentment with being alone. And that's different.
I mean, I guess you could separate the two of them. Just because a woman is lonely. As I said, she could be living alone. She could be a single woman, but she could still
enjoy her life. And that sometimes it is very liberating to not have to consider anybody else. It's low stress. It's freedom.
And people get comfortable in that zone. Right?
Yes, and that's why I think I used to not understand women who were older and they're like, I would never get married. I don't want no man. I'm like, damn, what's wrong with her? But you get so settled in it that I think it becomes harder and harder to share space and time. And so I think for a lot of women, because of everything that comes with it, it's kind of like, when I want to, I will, versus all the time.
So basically, you're comfortable with being alone at that point. Is what you're saying? Yeah,
and I think it's healthy. I think that every person, before locking in with their person, particularly for a lifetime, I think that every person should experience a period in life where they are alone, where they are completely self-sufficient, because you are responsible for your own happiness. And I think that people project their voids onto other people. And so I think that when a person finds a person that has been able to explore life in that state of stillness or alone, or however you want to say it, I think it's healthy. Because then you know that you're not coming to feel anything for that person because they are totally content without it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's scary when you meet a man that's never been on his own.
No, that is weird.
It's scary. Me personally, I don't understand as an adult person how you don't want or need or require your own space.
It could be good and bad too, because like I said, I'm a loner by nature, right? So because of that, yeah, it puts you in a space where you don't mind being in your own zone, in your own space, in your own world.
So define, is that what you mean by loner? Are you, by loner, do you mean you're most comfortable alone? Do you have to work to be around people? Is it a chore to?
Not really a chore. It depends on who the people are.
Okay.
You know.
So you just comfortable where you're comfortable. Other than that, you prefer to be alone.
Yeah. It got some people I would rather just not go around a lot of times. You know what I mean?
I get that.
But yeah. But other than that, I was a only child for a very long time. I have younger siblings. You know what I mean? Like 10 years younger. You know what I mean? So I just kind of learned how to function being by myself.
Created your own world. Okay.
Because some people could get into a relationship and still be by themselves. You know,
I've experienced that.
And be in their own world, you know. I've experienced that.
I've experienced that. That's the worst kind of lonely. Lonely with somebody is insane.
But what was your experience? Was your experience you doing it, or was it being done on your end?
You on one tonight. That's a great question. I think at that point in my life, I wasn't secure in articulating my needs. And so they weren't being met. And I think as a measure of protection, I just taught myself how to live without certain things. But then I later realized that those were the things that make me. That I can't exist without those things, because those things are what make me myself. So I think there was a period in my life where I did it and I learned how to, but I was very dead or asleep in the inside, for lack of a better word. And I didn't realize that until later, when I started to get other connections and realized that, wait, this is different. Yeah,
that makes sense. So I mean, yeah, it could be a good thing and a bad thing. I think if you have a good balance of it, it could be good, because you could really find yourself like being so much in that zone, like you're disattached from people, and that could be bad. Because if somebody's really wants to be in your world and want to be immersed, you know, into you, and you're kind of like offish, that's not gonna be good.
Yeah, I think you gotta explore. Is something on my face?
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you. I think you have to explore the reason why you're the most comfortable that way, because we develop coping mechanisms too. And sometimes I learned, because I grew up in a lot of chaos and trauma, I learned how to protect myself. And so sometimes protection for me looks like becoming recluse. Because it's just like I don't have to worry about anything or anyone. That's just safe. But it's also not realistic, because the reality is you do need people. I think I had taught myself that I don't, I used to be one of those women, I don't need nobody for nothing, ever. But the reality is we do. And people have different energies and offerings that they bring into your life, and they make deposits.
True.
If it's healthy. But even withdrawal, sometimes bad things can teach you. So I look at everything as a thing now, even when it's bad. I try to see what I can get from it, one, and two, what role I played in it.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you for clearing that up. Because Miss Girl is alone, but she is not lonely.
Alone and lonely don't mean the same thing.
And ladies, don't be sitting around talking about you lonely. Fulfill yourself while you're waiting. Your posture while you wait is very important. You will delay what's coming to you if you're not in the right energy while you wait. Waiting will give you strength. It will give you power. It will give you space to explore yourself, the world, people, or whatever. So just thank your higher power for offering you a space and time to get to develop yourself in that way. Don't be sitting around feeling lonely for yourself. So I'm sure you got options, and if it's not a good option, girl, swipe the red decline button and book your trip and get home.
Woman, ladies, stand by your mind.
No, lonely will have you answering the phone for somebody who you never even meant to talk to in the first place.
No, if he ain't treating you right, man, don't stay in this situation. You know what I mean? Find a better place for your heart and your investing of your time and your energy and your emotions to be into.
But not even just that. What about on a surface level? Like, let's keep it funky. Like, you in the house on a Saturday night, and you might get bored or you might want some company. There has been times where I'll be like, I'ma just let him come. As soon as he here, I'll be like, I was having a moment. I didn't mean it. Because once you find, ladies, for real, find your peace. We throw peace around so casually, but once you find your peace, real peace, you won't trade it for nothing. Nothing is worth the risk. To leave my house, it has to be my vibe or similar or equal to the vibe that I have created for myself. Otherwise, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. There is a such thing as energy vultures. And sometimes people are around you to just get what they can get, and it's not always a tangible thing. It could be attention, time, a place to stay for the night. Who knows? As you said before, y'all are savages. You said that.
I mean,
we have record. Make me
don't,
pull receipts.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Speak for everybody, but in certain ways, you get to a certain time. Anyhow, next topic. How important is sex in a relationship?
Very.
Wow. I mean, well, that sounds that. Moving on. Nah. But,
for real.
Do you think it's right for a woman to withhold sex in a relationship? Do you think that's going to make things better, or do you think that makes things worse?
I don't like that. I think at that point she's using sex as leverage, and it's not fair to yourself or him. Because I want you to be mad at me and still come to bed. We can finish arguing in the morning.
Suppose this woman is having self-esteem issues about herself. Do you think a man should take that into consideration? Or do you think that that's some things that they should work around? Or do you think that she should put that shit to the side and give this man what his needs and his wants is?
That's a little, you're going too far.
What's far? Did I say something?
Okay, so that's a real thing,
What?
I went through that after having a baby.
Really?
Yes, I went through that. I was possibly a little postpartum-ish, right? And you feel away. And I think that if you're in a space where you can't be honest about those things, it makes you internalize those things. And you may not even realize that you're doing it. You just are in a space where being touched or the thought of being intimate just doesn't feel safe to you. I think being in tune with your partner is key. So if you feel like your woman is off and you're a mature man, I think there is an approach that you could take, maybe insert more intimacy versus sex to just comfort, and reassurance is a thing,
So when you say intimacy, what do you mean? Not like kissing on her neck and rubbing on her, grabbing her from behind and
maybe rub her feet instead of smacking her ass.
Oh, I mean,
maybe cuddle instead of the Pokemon. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to be tapped into. Now, your needs are valid too. I think culturally, and I will say this, ladies, I'm sorry, I gotta keep it 100. Culturally, I think we are not good at talking about what a man needs. I think we're taught what we should look for from a man. Girl, make sure, I grew up around that. My mother and them was like, hey, make sure he this, and this. But they never said, but this is what you should be.
Right.
Or how you should. I think I learned how to conduct myself as a lady, and I take pride on being what I think is a woman of class. But we culturally weren't taught to be mindful to the needs of a man. And so then there's that. But no, I don't think, to answer back to the original point, which is that I don't think that it's healthy for a woman to do that. I think you have to find a way to say, baby, I'm not in the best headspace right now. It's not personal. Can you just be a little patient with me right now?
Right. I mean,
but
that's reasonable. I guess you have to, put that to the side. So,
could you be sensitive to that? Or would you just go smash the 25-year-old? Call me back. God, that's not. I'm finna walk off this fucking set.
No,
are you serious?
No, yeah. Listen, people. I like to troll and I like to, we antagonist, protagonist thing we have going here. But no, I'll just if that conversation comes and we have that conversation, I definitely have to take that into consideration, especially if that's.
The question was, can you be sensitive?
I definitely have to take that into consideration and be sensitive to that, right? If we have that conversation, brethren, dealing with that, this is for you. So, yeah, I would take that into consideration, right?
What would that look like?
I wouldn't press the issue.
Would you walk around being mad?
Nah, I wouldn't press the issue because now I understand what's going on, and I don't want to make things, Would like to get the draws, so I want to play it safe. I want to play it calm, and I want to make sure that I'm being as. And I don't want to make things, politically correct as possible. I'm being as understanding and as empathetic as I possibly could be. But if you're just walking around and a man don't understand what's going on here,
but maybe she doesn't always understand what's going on either.
But some kind of understanding have to get met at some point because we're gonna be just too confused. People not understand. That this is confusion now. But I think what you're saying is right, though. I think having the conversations in relationships is highly important, right?
That's hard because you already feel some type of way, and men can really be like insensitive. Men don't really know how to handle stuff like that.
I mean, you're 100% right.
So I don't know what that would look like for. I don't know. You have to be in a really healthy place, I think, to be able to go to your mate and say, I feel away.
I mean, I agree with you because I would say that a lot of times, a lot of things that I say on this show and that we talk about, I troll a lot of the times, and I don't mean anything by it. It's not my personal view. It's just perspectives of males that I sit around and they give me their views. But it's not really my point of view. We do it because we like to create this content, right? But a lot of times we have conversations, and there are things that I might have overlooked when we sit down and we have these conversations, we talk. I get a different perspective to look at it and say, damn, I might have been thinking about that in a wrong way. And you know what's helping that? The conversations that we have. Right, and I think without having these conversations, we can never come to a conclusion or find, grounds, even grounds to meet on. So, yeah.
So how would you? So do you think sex? How important do you think sex is?
It's very. So,
like deal breaker, very. Have enough sex with you?
Enough sex with me is not the problem. It's the kind of sex with me what might be the problem.
Clarify.
Now, if you're given saltines, and I want the Ritz with the peanut butter on it, then we slip in. You know what I mean? We I need somebody at least that you don't put peanut butter on it, but you like a little something. Like, all right, I could work with that. But a straight saltine, I'm looking for the Ritz.
So being energetically compatible is what you're saying. Is that what I'm gathering?
Yeah, willing to be open to that.
Do you think you have to grow to that?
Yeah, because I think when you're dealing with women, women deal with a lot of comfortability, right? So a lot of things when they get more and more comfortable is the more and more open with you I think they would sexually get with you, right? But all women are different because you have some women that are very insecure and very shy about themselves, and I don't even know sometimes that's a hard nut to crack.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
So is that a turn off?
It's not really a turn-off. I would just say that it becomes unaligned. You start to realize that you and that person is unaligned in that way,
Not sexually compatible.
And that leads to infidelity, right? Because how do you love somebody but you're not sexually compatible with them? Do you throw away the whole person? Or do you just go and seek your desires but still keep the one that you love with? What do you do? You see what I'm saying? That's a dilemma that
I don't think people are honest about it, and I don't think men need a reason to cheat anyway, because men tend to be more impulsive and less calculated than women. But anyway, I think that the average man wouldn't know how to approach that, and he would go find But I think it's easy to be compatible with somebody you're just knocking off because it's the thrill of that. Like, I know that's what I'm here for.
That becomes scary though, because you're here for a good time, not for a long time, and that good time might turn into a long time because now you start to.
I don't know. I mean, we've all had those people that's like, we ain't really tapped in no other way, but if I want A+, I know
but just like
exactly.
you were saying though, right? You're gonna start feeling that person more than your real person because now you're starting to feel the little things that you all do have. You know, that sometimes can lead to a problem. You better just hope that it's just one thing you guys have incompatible, like that's where it stops. All your love better still be where it is. Because if any, you know, if you start feeling like, well, we compatible here and then we sitting around, we laughing and we giggling and joking and having a good time, that
then you're doing too much. If you pulled up for that, pull up for that, and get out of there. I'm not condoning cheating. I'm just saying. if you are going to, you need to know how. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go for what you're going for and come on out. But I don't know. I think we're both saying the same thing, is that you just have to communicate about it. I would hope that my person will holler at me or whatever. Or if it's something that you like that I'm not doing or something that you want to see more of, I think you just have to pay attention. Because I want to know, like, what you like and what stimulates you. Like, if I need to be, you know, frying tofu in lingerie, then that's what you're going to get.
That's wicked, you know?
You feel me?
That's wicked.
You got to be able to break down barriers and boundaries to please your partner, I think.
Join it. I definitely, well, yeah, communication is key. Communication is key. Women, men, fellas, ladies, kings, queens, communication is key.
Yeah.
That's
he ain't found that spot yet, let him know.
You talk to him, point him in the right direction. I mean,
how Beyonce
literally said? And, you know,
to the left,
figuratively.
We're a little bit out of control tonight.
I mean, so it is, man. This is Pure Vibes, the podcast, man, where we get pure vibes jumping. You know, where we talk about the hot topics, love, relationship, life, sex, and everything else under the sun, you know. Oh,
I got a question.
Yeah.
What if your lady came home and she started doing things that you hadn't been in the energy that you hadn't really seen her in before? Would you be like, where you get that from? Like, if she started to just show up different sexually, would that first off, would you notice? Would you mention it? Would you internalize it? How?
Well, I'll tell you what, in reverse, I feel like that happened with me, right? So your boy doing all his little reading and his research, finally figure out some buttons to push and some knobs to turn, right?
Is that where you really got it from, though? Were you there?
Yeah. I mean, I had to figure it out first, right? So that's what I did. I figured it out.
Because somebody could have taught you.
No.
Carry on.
Unfortunately, I didn't have a first human teacher. Reading these books. Anyway, so once I mapped out the treasure map, and I figured it out, you know, and now I wanted to try it with this person. They were looking very strange in the face, like.
Where you get that from?
Right. You had never tried to do this to me before, and they looked like they were just totally uncomfortable about it.
Uncomfortable with what you were doing, or that it was new?
Something new that I wanted to, I was trying to experience with their body, and they were just looking like super uncomfortable about it.
This is why you have to talk about sex. I know a lot of people don't want to, but you have to.
Yeah, I probably should have said something because your boy just definitely just.
But then too, I don't know.
Just went and playing gyno, you know what I mean? No.
I'm different though. I would appreciate that.
That's what I'm trying to say though. So that's why the conversation is important, because everybody's different, right? You might have got out of a situation where somebody was more free like that, where they just, like we were talking about earlier, personality. Some people are a little bit more reserved. Some people are out there. Different parts of people might be just more out there. Some people are super reserved with their sexuality. Some people are like, I don't give a shit. Walk around naked, skin out, do this, do that.
The other thing is triggers too. Like, people have, if we go a step further, we really get naked in this. People have things that are unfortunate that they have experienced in their lives.
Through their life experience.
Yes, and certain things, I have triggers. if I get to a certain point in relationship with this person, I have to share them because I wouldn't want to respond to a certain thing and he take it personal. So I feel like at a certain point if I feel like, okay, we're in depth now, I have to share this with him. But it can be uncomfortable, it can be embarrassing. I just think maturity when it comes to sexual development, maturity and communication, they have to get married. And if you want to reach your height with this person, you may have to go into the deep and share some things that may not feel so good to share. But by all means, read your book and come home and try it. All is welcome.
I mean, don't be afraid to. I mean, and now we're in a different era now. Everything is on the internet. Information is always there, man. Just don't be afraid to learn. I think what's wrong with men is we're just scared to say we don't know something, or scared to show that we might need to learn something. You might not be the best at this. I need to get better at this. And I think when you take time to figure out the wonders of a woman's body and you realize the glorious things a woman's body can do once you learn it.
Glorious is good.
I mean, glorious is very good.
Do you approach every woman the same sexually?
I think that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous a little bit.
So do you think that men? I have problems with this because you always saying I'm not talking about me, but I really want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you meet a woman, are you paying attention to how confident she is, how secure she? Like, how
those are the things that's going to initially attract me to her.
Okay, so when you gauge those things, is that how you develop your sexual approach?
No. So my thing is, I love to. I want to say, you know what I mean?
Come on with it.
Give too much of my secret recipe, but I more like to pay attention to a woman's energy, and once I figure out where her energy is, I meet her where her energy is at. You see what I'm saying? I never jump the gun. I'm never the guy that leads that talk, lead that race. I let her become
really
comfortable. No. Because I don't want to make no woman uncomfortable or think that I'm cookie monster. I'm just here for the cookies. You get me?
No, I mean, I get that too, but there are some women who like to be led.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And once you figure that out, then you can do that. That's why I said you have to kind of learn her, right?
Yeah.
You got to go around people and learn their position. And once a woman starts telling you about themselves or showing you who they are, then you're like, okay. Then if you smart.
Control is a thing.
You play to the tune of the drum. You feel what I'm trying to say?
So you got a book of tunes.
I'm listening to what type of melody she like. So I know how to compose this song to her. I want to talk her language. I want to be able to connect with her in the way that she want to be connected with. I want to stimulate her mentally and grow her in the way that she feel that,
I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because I feel like 80% of sex is mental.
I figured that out about women. Like, too many women have the same story. Like, if a man can mentally be soothing to me, then everything else, right? Yeah, once he stimulate my mind, and if he could get past that, then most likely everything else would be,
Because the reality for a woman is, my initial attraction to you could be I might not like you like that. You get what I'm saying? But I'm a sapiosexual, so and for those of you who don't know, I'm a person that's stimulated by all things mental. And so I just feel like physical stimulation is so surface level and so easy if two people are attracted to each other, okay, here we go. But I think that there's a dynamic of sex that is heightened when there is a mental connection, because even if I think you would have to rely on just physical attraction if you don't have that. Which can get tricky because you could be hella attractive and then can't deliver. But I think if you're connected with somebody mentally, even bad sex can be good. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you have some different attraction that goes on.
Yeah, so even if the sex wasn't grade A, because I'm so stimulated inside of my language, then yeah, that shit was good for me. So I think that different people, it's different things. But if you can't get me here, it's like not having a key for the car. Like, no, you're not gonna get nowhere.
Which is true, fellas. Many women say the same thing, bro. You know what I mean? Hit the books.
But y'all don't want to do the work. Men don't want to do the work. They just want to just go to third base. Can we talk about foreplay?
What about it?
Damn.
What about it?
Damn. See, that's the problem. The what about it?
I'm saying, I mean, you want to talk about what I mean,
can you cook without the stove on?
I mean, we're going to get some foreplay, you know, you going to get your, you know.
How important is foreplay for a man? Men be like,
yeah, like, sometimes it's that type of party, you know.
What you mean?
Sometimes you just want to pull the panty aside and get business done, you know. Yeah, man. Sometimes you just see her by the stove or by the sink. You just want to bend her over and just, you know, you don't want to. You know, sometimes it's just about the spontaneity, you know.
No, I get that, but there's still some preliminary that you.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bite on your neck, a little blow in your ear.
Yeah, something,
you know?
because I'm saying it's like trying to cook without the stove on.
Yeah, of course, some kissing might be going on, you know, to lead you there.
That's foreplay though.
Okay, cool. But
you know what I'm saying? But
sometimes I think women be wanting, run the bath for me, put some salt in it, make me smell like jasmine, roll me in
to me, that's more
and rose petals. You know, let me put on this lingerie. You know.
You don't like lingerie?
I like it. It looks nice, but
it's in the way.
2 seconds, rip it off.
I
appreciate you, ladies.
Do you? Bath water and stuff, that's more like intimacy, I think. But intimacy and foreplay, I don't think are the same.
I would agree.
I think they tie in.
I would agree.
I don't think they're the
same. But you don't think that can be the same thing? Some foreplay, have her in the bathtub, doing all type of milk and honey bath and all this kind of.
I mean, I'm not that guy.
Playing R&B, rubbing your shoulder. You look like you love that type of thing.
I do, but
you look like you like a nice little sugar scrub bath. You look like you love that.
I do all the time, but those are my time, my bath, my.
Those are your pampering things.
Yeah, for me all the time. And then women too, like, have to understand that you have to tap into your feminine energy outside of a man. So I will come, especially after a long week, my week is over, will come home, take a bath, put my music on, sip my wine while I'm in the tub, and put on lingerie when I'm by myself. Because it makes me feel a certain way. And then I'm not reliant, I'm self-reliant when it comes to stimulating my feminine energy. And this is when you get into divine feminine, when you don't rely on things outside of yourself to activate certain things. So I think then once you add the masculine energy, it's just like a fire that's placed under it. It's already there though. You get what I'm saying? I think when women rely on a man to completely light their fire, it can feel laborious to a man because you're not tapped in at all. So then you just like needing him to do everything. I think if you are in your feminine energy, you have found how to get into that space on your own. I like to feel sexy. I like to feel feminine. I like being soft. I love being a woman. And I think when you learn how to embody those things, it just oozes out of you. And then when you get that masculine energy, it's just off to the races.
It definitely works as a combination, you know. It's the out piece, you know. The man and the woman coming together to create life and to balance out energy. Yeah, family.
That was juicy.
I know this.
No pun intended.
I mean, we always keep it hot and spicy over here on the Pure Vibes podcast. You see me? That's what we do over here. We get edgy and get hot. You feel me? Yo, family, this has been another episode of Pure Vibes, the podcast. I'm your host, King Fine, aka the Fresh King, alongside with my beautiful co-host.
I want to be divine feminine. Lady Lotus, queen of positive vibes.
Thank you again for coming out and joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and do all those great things. It helps this channel to grow and help this page to get more spread out there and people to know it more. So tell a friend to tell a friend until the end.
Hit
until
that
next
button.
time. Peace, love, and prosperity.
You better.
Count, boom, with God.
I'm trying.